Title: The Echo in the Hallway, a Reddit confession. The stale air of the airport terminal clung to me like a shroud. Delayed flight again. I hated O'Hare even on a good day, and today was decidedly not a good day. I strolled through Reddit, desperately seeking some distraction from the swirling vortex of anxiety and suspicion that had taken root in my gut. AITA for suspecting my GF. AITA for checking my BF's phone, the usual fodder. I almost envied their uncertainty. My uncertainty had just evaporated, leaving behind a cold, hard truth. Sarah, my Sarah, was gone, or at least, the Sarah I thought I knew had vanished. It all started innocently enough. Sarah had been acting different, distant, working late more often. Excuses piled on excuses. I tried to brush it off. We'd been together for 5 years, a lifetime in the modern dating world. We'd shared apartments, dreams, awkward Thanksgiving dinners with her painfully polite parents. We were supposed to be building a life together. Marriage had been subtly hinted at, the topic dancing around the edges of our conversations like a nervous guest. But the nagging feeling persisted, a gut feeling, primal and insistent, that something was terribly wrong. I started paying more attention, too much attention, probably. I became the guy I swore I'd never be, the paranoid, insecure boyfriend. Then came the business trip, a conference in Chicago. Conveniently timed, I thought, with her sudden coolness towards me. I tried to be supportive, to quell the ugly jealousy that threatened to consume me. I dropped her off at the airport with a kiss and a forced smile, telling her to have a great time presenting her research. Except, I couldn't shake it. The feeling festered, growing stronger with each passing hour. That night, I tossed and turned, the empty space beside me in our bed feeling cavernous. I knew I was being irrational, maybe even a little pathetic, but I couldn't help myself. I did something I deeply regret. I checked her phone. It was unlocked, lying innocently on the kitchen counter. A stupid, impulsive decision fueled by anxiety and a desperate need for reassurance. I told myself I just needed to see something. Anything that would put my mind at ease. The messages were tucked away in a messaging app I didn't recognize, encrypted, probably. But then I saw it, a notification from her email, a travel itinerary, not to Chicago, to Miami. My blood ran cold. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed to know more. I felt like a detective in some cheap paperback novel, piecing together clues from crumbs. I found hotel reservations, restaurant confirmations, all in Miami, all for 2 people. The other person's name was David. I strolled through Reddit that night, typing variations of how to confront a cheating partner into the search bar. The responses were a mix of righteous indignation, cynical advice, and cautionary tales. Most suggested gathering evidence, planning my exit, and protecting myself emotionally. I decided to follow her. I know, it sounds insane. Borderline stalkerish, but I was beyond reason. I booked a last-minute flight to Miami, telling my boss I had a family emergency. The lie tasted like ash in my mouth. I found her. It wasn't hard. The hotel was swanky, overlooking the beach. I watched from across the street as she walked into the lobby, David by her side. He was tall, handsome, with the easy confidence of someone who knew he had something to offer. They looked happy. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. The air rushed out of my lungs, and I stumbled back, clutching at a nearby lamppost for support. The reality of it hit me with the force of a tidal wave. I spent the next 2 days in a haze of disbelief and simmering rage. I watched them from afar, ghosts in their paradise. I saw them laughing, holding hands, kissing on the beach. Each glimpse was a fresh wound, a slow, agonizing torture. I took pictures, not sure why. Proof, maybe, ammunition for the inevitable confrontation. Or maybe just a sick form of self-punishment. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to hear it from her. I had to know why. I waited for her outside their hotel room. My hands were clammy, my heart hammering against my ribs. When she finally emerged, alone, heading to the pool, I stepped out of the shadows. "Sarah," I said, my voice barely a whisper. She gasped, her eyes widening in shock. "What are you doing here?" "I know," I said, the word heavy with all the unspoken pain. I know about David. I know about Miami. Her face crumpled. She looked like a deer caught in headlights. How did you find out? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The accusation hung in the air between us, thick and suffocating. She started to cry. I can explain. Explain what? Sarah. Explain how you could lie to me. Explain how you could betray everything we've built. She stammered, trying to find the right words, but they wouldn't come. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to. It just happened, I repeated, incredulous. You booked a flight to Miami with another man, lied to my face, and it just happened. The conversation devolved into a shouting match, fueled by anger, hurt, and a profound sense of betrayal. She blamed me, saying I was distant, that I wasn't giving her enough attention. I countered with accusations of deceit and selfishness. It was a pointless, ugly cycle, each word a fresh blow to the already shattered remains of our relationship. Finally, she said something that broke me completely. Something that stripped away any lingering hope I had that we could salvage something, anything, from the wreckage. I don't love you anymore, she said, her voice flat and cold, and honestly. I don't think I ever really did, David. David makes me feel things I haven't felt in years. I know this is going to hurt you, but I need to be honest. I can't be with you anymore. I don't ever see myself being with you again. That was it, the final nail in the coffin. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I didn't even cry. I just looked at her, at the woman I had loved, the woman I had imagined spending my life with, and I saw a stranger. A cold, distant stranger. Okay, I said, my voice surprisingly calm. Okay, Sarah, I understand, and then I turned and walked away. I walked away from our 5 years, from our shared dreams, from the future we had planned together. I walked away from the woman I thought I knew. I walked away without a word, without a backward glance. Back at the airport now, the delay was announced, and the passengers groaned in unison. I barely registered it. My thoughts were still reeling. I don't know what happens next. I don't know how I'm going to pick up the pieces and move on. I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust someone again, but I do know this. I deserve better. I deserve someone who loves me, someone who respects me, someone who wouldn't betray me in such a callous and hurtful way. I deserve someone who would never say, I don't ever see myself being with you again. I closed the Reddit app. The endless stream of relationship anxieties suddenly felt trivial compared to the gaping hole in my chest. I stood up, grabbed my bag, and headed towards the nearest bar. I needed a drink, a strong one. Maybe, just maybe, after a few shots of whiskey, I could start to believe that one day I would be okay. Maybe one day the echo of her words wouldn't haunt me with every waking thought. Maybe one day I could forgive her. Maybe one day I could even forgive myself for being so blind.